What's going on, everybody? It's Jeff here. Welcome back to the channel. Almost touching 20 bucks. Fruition is starting to happen. I had said in a video I made on Saturday that this week was going to be different. And as you can clearly see, we are well off to a much different start, guys. In this video, I want to talk a little bit about some of the questions that people have been reaching out and asking me. One of them being, is this the beginning of the short squeeze? Okay, how will I know when the short squeeze begins? What's going on with June 2nd, the share recount? Okay, and then all of the FUD that is being spread by people that I would never even expect to even watch YouTube, commenting on all of our videos. Anybody who creates YouTube videos on AMC or GameStop, is commenting on and what's going on for this Friday and just what are you supposed to be doing, guys? Okay, so those are a couple things I want to answer. Guys, as far as all of the DD, the research behind what is going on, we've covered all that. Okay, not only myself over the last couple months, but all over YouTube. Reddit is another great one where some of it's speculative. Absolutely, any type of research is research, so it can be a little bit speculative. Okay, and everyone's perception and opinion is different, but that DD, that hard work has been done, and now we are starting to reap some of the rewards. So these topics that I just mentioned are what I really want to cover. Okay, so let's get right into it. First off, what you are seeing right now is additionally more shorting start to happen. I do want to point this out, guys. I was freaking amazed by is we've already got, it's what, halfway, a little bit over halfway through the trading day. We got 266 million shares on volume. Absolutely insane. So we're set to close. If this continues, including power hour, we're in a slow time right now. I would say somewhere around the 425 to 450 million range, which, guys, we have not seen since February 25th, which we just touched those couple days. That's when we hit, I think we hit $14. That was the last time we hit $14. But go all the way back to the days of the squeeze, and that's when we really got up over that 400 million range. So it's going to be interesting to see, especially because it's increasing. Yesterday, Tuesday, May 25th was 204, and we've already blown through that, which is good to see. Um, Bar chart has got, an insane amount of options volume still coming on AMC, which is good news. And then over on iBorrowdesk, even on Ortex, it's very hard. There's not many shares available to borrow. Okay, so but let me dive into this, guys. This is one thing I really want to talk about when it comes to the short squeeze. Is the squeeze happening? Okay, how do I know? Guys, the number one thing it's very easy for you to look at, and whether you have access to Ortex or not, I'm sure you know somebody that does, okay? And I'll continue to use it in my videos, and plenty of other people do as well. But when you see these shares to loan start to decrease, okay, that's going to be a clear signal that the covering is starting to happen. And guys, I don't mean 3 million, 5 million, even 10 million shares. I mean, when you begin to see a good chunk of those go away, when that 130 million goes down to 100 million, goes down to 80 million, that's when you know the covering is taking place. Until then, right now, all you have is, yes, what happened yesterday, okay, the market makers, 21-day and the 35-day cycle on the failure to delivers led to some buying pressure. And on top of it, you've also got FOMO. And I'm going to say this, some of the guys that, run these YouTube lives, first of all, I give them all the credit in the world, because making a video is one thing, but doing a live for especially as long as these guys do, some of them, kudos to them. I could never do that. But you see the amount of people watching their live videos going from, a few thousand, 5, 6, maybe 10,000. Now we are, 3, 4, 5 times as much as that. So we're beginning to spill over. I talked about this in previous videos, guys. Our family is growing. Okay. So we're continuing to get into a little bit of FOMO here. There's people averaging up, dollar cost averaging up, okay, because now they got in at $10, $9, and they're like, okay, well, I was only up $1 or $2, so maybe I don't want to add more to this position, but now, I've already doubled my money, so I can add more to this position and still feel comfortable that I have enough of a cushion to be able to be made. So that's exactly what's happening here. Even if you look at the charts on the 1-day minute chart, we're sitting at 1889, 86 right now. There is shorting happening, and if you look at the time frame, this is This is happening right at that 11:30 mark, which is very traditional of the day trader stop on this is an Eastern Standard Time, guys. Obviously, day trader stop, jump over, let's heavy short, okay, and the shares are getting swallowed up pretty quick, okay. Retail is still buying, and like I said, the presence is absolutely phenomenal, okay. So keep that in the back of your mind, guys. That's what to pay attention for when quote unquote the short squeeze begins to happen. It's inevitably this play that we have been a part of, okay, is all about the shorts covering. So in order to identify when the shorts begin to cover, pay attention to that shares on loan. Now, guys, last thing I do want to jump over and talk about is what is going on for the June 2nd, the share recount. The share recount, the proxies are meant to be set out or set to be sent out on June 2nd, and that's when it will begin. So the big question is looming, guys. Well, what happens if, okay, they already identify that there's over 493 million, okay, shares exist? Well, what happens? Well, first off, let's just take a step back and think about, has this ever happened before? Okay, because history is a really great thing to look at about, well, what has happened in the past and what will happen in the future. So there's been plenty of times, a numerous amount of times since high frequency trading, okay, was really the mainstream of trading and investing, that this has happened before, right? Well, okay, well, what has happened because of that? Has there been recalls? Okay, has there been fines that have been sent out? And inevitably, guys, you can go do some of this research yourself, and you can look at specific companies where this has had happened before, and it has happened numerous times. And inevitably, the SEC really hasn't done have a huge crackdown in the past. However, this time is different because you have a huge group of people, which is us, that are really fighting for the manipulation. Okay, and we're standing up for it. Whereas it happens before, maybe it just went under the rug, right? It's the same thing I talk about, now with, police, being have a much heavier presence now that COVID is starting to subside. Well, what happens? Everybody was doing 85. Well, they got away from it for a long period of time, but now things have changed. That's exactly what has happened with us, is that we have really started to, okay, put our presence and stand up for what is happening. So that's what I could expect to, potentially happen. However, it doesn't mean that all of a sudden, immediately, the market makers, the brokers, okay, the SEC, the clearinghouses, anybody is going to call and say, listen, you guys need to cover all of those phantom shares, all of those fake shares, all of those unknown, okay, the unknowns, all right, because that's all it's going to be. It's going to be an unknown. What happened? How did we come up with this conclusion that there are more shares? You and I that have, we've been following the stock. I've spent some time, obviously, investing in the market and just following with everything that's going on with AMC. It's clear as day to us, okay? But inevitably, it's just like the court system. It's got to be proven without, beyond a reasonable doubt, and they're going to take time to be able to, really dive in and investigate what happened. So just inevitably, guys, don't put a date to this. All right, don't say, oh, once it happens, they're automatically going to be recalled. And the stock price is just going to go, soaring up. We're moving. We're continuing to move up, and I don't believe the shorts are going to cover just yet, because, like I said, some of these big guys, they'll pay hundreds of millions of dollars, okay, in every week or so, okay, on the interest on these shares on loan, because they're 10-figure, or I'm sorry, guys, was it 12-figure, 9-figure? What am I even talking about here? 9-figure freaking hedge funds assets under management. It's just absolutely astronomical. So guys, just keep that in mind. Don't hold anything to the dates. And like I said, inevitably, guys, make sure you all get to sleep pretty well. I feel like people are more anxious and restless than they were when we were sitting down at $7, and your portfolio might have been down $5,000 or $10,000, and now you're up, 20 grand, and you're even more on edge than you were. So keep calm, guys, and I'll keep on posting, guys. I'll see you in the next one.